people have an idea about a destination that they like to visit, but we help them profound maybe the experience they're going to have on spot and extend it with all kind of upsells, with all kind of experience, local experience, and of course, feel and look and design, something authentic. The moment we step into this luxury part of vacation rental, I realized that actually authenticity and scenic views and privacy, it's what people consider to be as luxury. It's not about marble and home cinema. I mean, of course, you can have as many amenities as possible, but that's not necessarily what will be considered as luxurious.
Who's this? Oh, you're an entrepreneur? Oh, you're a real estate investor. Oh, you're trying to learn from those who did it. Well, come into the lab then. Put your white coat on, gloves on, notepad, and let's build, y'all. Real estate experiment. What is happening, y'all? Today, I have the pleasure of having a special guest with me in the lab who I'm so humbled to share a couple pages of our best-selling book with her. She's the author of Hospitable, Host, and she is the founder and CMO of Smiling House Luxury. Also got a little copywriting in there. Founder Villa Tracker. You got also the triangle.luxury, which I'm excited to dive deep around about. Also, exactly, you can see that in her background if you're watching us, which is gorgeous. I mean, it says all about the luxury that one should optimize for. Also, the Shorty's 2020 Pioneer Award, which isn't just given to anybody, y'all. And an entrepreneur that has really dominated in the luxury short-term rental space. And today, I mean, every time I read this number, I'm like, this is insane. You're just talking about, you got 4,000 properties, 90 destinations in 33 countries. I mean, no,
we have 6,000 properties in 33 destinations and close to 140, in 33 countries and 140 destinations. But I have to update it from one interview to another because we're growing quite fast. Yeah, but
what a first world problem. What a problem to have. And thanks for correcting me. And I should know better because it's our businesses. When you're doing it the right way, it catches fire and it creates a domino effect that by the time y'all listen to this, that number might change as well because it's ever growing. So
amazing, right?
Without further ado, absolutely amazing. That's why we have you here in the lab with us. Without further ado, let's welcome Moriya Rockman to the lab. Also goes as Moriya, but we're gonna go by Moriya today. Just want to, in case you've heard her name before, I think you might have. Now you know. She's here with us with a beautiful smile here in the lab with us and a wonderful background. Thank you, Moriya, for being here with us. What's going on?
Yes, everything is great. Thank you for having me this afternoon for me and probably morning for you. Yeah. And Vicky's here from the Swiss Alps, where we are based. Where we started our journey with one single home up to where we are today with the Smiling House Group. Just maybe to make it, making a little bit more sense for the audience, the one, listening and watching. So we are not property managers of 6,000 properties, but we are an OTA that working with hundreds and hundreds of excellent property managers like yourself, maybe around the globe, but we are focusing on the segment of luxury STR, the luxury segment of our industry. And and now with our new startup of Triangle, also make it possible for property managers to act as realtor and be involved in selling of STRs and keep on managing them.
You are disrupting a lot of verticals in the real estate space, which is wonderful because disruption for me is change and optimization for the better and to serve an actual need. So before we kind of go into the scale, because we're going to reverse engineer into a second, I believe, that you as a person or your business is a reflection of you, right? Vice versa. And so you had a very humble beginning. I want to find out a little bit about, okay, who is Moriya, right? Like, where does this come in? You talked about in your book that you didn't have much tech background, and yet now you've literally submerged yourself into tech because you're creating these platforms and these marketplaces that can serve people from all over the world. You're an OTA, online travel agent, travel agency. So you're essentially now playing the game that, the Airbnbs, if you're a marketplace. So before we get into that, like, who is Moriya? Did you fall into this? How did this even
Yeah,
come about?
completely. Like maybe you had the chance to read in the book. Maybe some of the audience, I know you read the chapter of
Yeah.
Hospitable Host. So I fell in love with hospitality completely by chance. I met my husband. I moved to the Swiss Alps. I'm originally from Israel, and we had this very 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 old chalet. Chalet is like it's like a villa made out of, it's a hut. It's made out of wood here in the Swiss Alps, and it was 400 years old house. And it happened to be that I was hosting in this house a friend from New York, and she told me, why don't you put it on Airbnb? And I asked, what is Airbnb? That was like 11 years ago. And she said, it's a new startup. Yeah, they are in Chicago, now they're in New York. You better do this and that. And she introduced me to the platform. I believe that we've been one of the first properties in Switzerland, or maybe in Europe even, just purely because we had Karen as a guest, as a friend. And since we uploaded to Airbnb at the time, we started to have people who came over from all over the world and didn't mind that this is 400 years old house with no, that has its own water, not really connected to the city hall. And I went all the way with it and say, come and play Heidi. I don't know if you know the story of the kids' story about Heidi in the mountains, which is, and anyway, we saw people coming, people who could afford any 5-star hotel coming to this rustic experience. But the houses next door, like in 10 minutes drive from this house, a very, very luxurious house here in Gstaad. It's a place where you can see easily in the street Madonna and I don't know, Shakira, and used to be the
What's
house.
The location
of,
you said?
Gstaad, Gstaad. So it's like, it's a place where all these celebrities are coming to ski, and not only, and there was no paparazzis, and people can really be like themselves, and it's looking a little bit like a fairy tale. And that's where I happened to be, staying. And when I just got this kind of window to hospitality, which is something that I never had in mind to do. I'm coming from advertising. I used to be a radio DJ back in the times. And then all the friends that I had said, why don't you also put my house on Airbnb? And so on. So we start to be whatever we learned that's called later a property manager.
Yeah.
But our developing into Switzerland and then Europe and then the world happened very, very fast. And today, like you said, today I'm talking about tech and platforms.
Yeah.
And it's all about self-learning and enthusiastic. And yeah, I'm not coming from any of these backgrounds before.
Well, I love that, because if you look over to my right shoulder, if you're looking at the screen, it says experiment, fail, learn, repeat. And we believe that in the lab. I mean, you're a true practitioner of that. You're kind of like, okay, let's try this and see how it goes. But before I'm pulling this up right now. I'm looking at Gstaad, Switzerland. This is gorgeous. Like, I'm looking on my other screen here. And I got to ask you, there's a few questions I have. Do you think, because, at first I was going to say, well, why are people coming? But then it's very obvious as to why they're coming. It's the location. But for you, your key takeaway in this experience, why is it, I should ask this, is it the location? Is it the property? Like, which one would you bet on first when you're thinking about having people from all over the world coming to your individual property? What comes first in your mind?
So I believe that people have an idea about a destination that they like to visit, but we help them to profound maybe the experience they're going to have on spot and extend it with all kind of upsells, with all kind of experience, local experience, and of course, feel and look and design, something authentic. The moment we step into this luxury part of vacation rental, I realized that actually authenticity and scenic views and privacy, it's what people consider to be as luxury. It's not about marble and home cinema. I mean, of course, you can have as many amenities as possible, but that's not necessarily what will be considered as luxurious in the eyes of the people where you can spend. So yeah, I think first people looking for the destination. And for the destination to be attractive, we, the people who are creating hospitality experiences for people, we helping the destination grow and becoming famous. So we have to keep up and to maybe set up the standards of what we can offer. And I believe, you know, people like us can be big influencers of how a destination could be more attractive. Yeah,
I love that. That's a great answer, and I love that you're funny because I had Rachel Gainsbourg on here. I'm not one of our co-authors, and she's also in the luxury space. And I think there's this misconception of, you know, based on what we see, all luxury like helicopters and etc., which is nice, and I think there is a place for that, but I think sometimes we miss out on the luxury that you can actually create yourself in, you know, in your respective environment. But let's go back to kind of where you started, because I think obviously location, we talk about this in real estate. At the end of the day, we are in the hospitality business, and we are also in the real estate business, right? It's like a combination, right? There's a lot to offer. And I think this is where you come in, because you're able to see that. And that's why you're able to create all these avenues and understand the upsells and understand, you know, that there's a property insight, there's property management involved, which we'll get into. But going back to the location, if I understand correctly, if we're going to get tactical in the lab, we're then saying, okay, let's focus on an area, a destination that people are desiring to go to, right? And then, but you can't leave it at that, right? It can't just be like, there's a reason why you're probably different than the many properties or homes that are in the same neighborhood. Once you've established that foundation, it sounds like what you're saying is, okay, now let's build a authentic private atmosphere and then build on that foundation. What would be like the third layer? Because you started talking about it, like upsells. Like if I'm trying to think of like, hey, I want to be like Moriya and I want to create my little ecosystem of luxury. Sounds like location, authenticity, privacy. What would be that third layer that you would add in there that
so
maybe
of course,
gets overlooked?
Yeah, so of course design, you know, it's very important to pay attention to design and to comfortability. So you know, a luxury home considered to be one with as many rooms that are en suite, where they have the bathroom and the toilet attached to it, gardens, you know, everything that is making us a little bit spoiled. If you have a jacuzzi or a hot tub or any facility that create leisure feeling. So this can be, you can take a simple place in kind of desired destination and turning it into more luxurious by paying attention to these details, a storytelling, something that will be aligned, you know, with the way that the house is like welcoming you. And we have, for example, here in Gstaad, this is not something I invented, but I can give it, I can share with you how a destination builds itself into kind of a special, unique feeling for the people visiting. So here, for example, the chalets, the houses, each one of them has a name. So when you are going and meeting someone, you're not telling him, I'm staying in this street number 43. You're saying, I'm staying at Chalet Georgia. you know? It's like you already own the house in a way. You're already a resident of the destination. And this is how people talking about where they are, where they stay, where they invite other people. And the way that the hospitality goes here is very much open for you as a guest to host others. So a press-ski at my place, you know, come to Chalet, Georgia, at 5 o'clock after a press-ski, you know, for a drink and little nibbling on some kind of thing and conversation. And this is like how people meet within the houses. So for us, the possibility to give the common spaces an added value. Think about your guest, not throwing a party, but think about your guest feeling that he's the owner of this place for 1 week or 2. Give him everything that he needs to feel comfortable and to let his friends maybe to come and visit and to have equipped kitchen so that he can really cook a nice meal, or order a chef to come, and a nice garden furniture, and everything that is not only gonna come, sleep, eat, and go out to the activity. This he can do in a hotel, right?
Really, it sounds like you're saying like bringing the entire experience within the roof, under the roof of a home, so that they're experiencing that specific unique local experience with their loved ones, literally
Yeah.
at a push of a button, right? That's really interesting. So let's talk about that, because I know you mentioned upsales, and it's something that I've recently started to talk about. And I recently read a book called Who Not How, and it makes me think of the strategic partnerships that you've kind of built over time. Do you want to talk about that, right? When we talk about like chefs and drivers, and I was reading that in your chapter, like what are some things that most maybe hosts, or if you're trying to elevate yourself and take yourself to the next level, that people are just not thinking about?
Yeah, so I say, make yourself, first of all, be active. So wherever you are, reach out to those in your surrounding that can make your business successful, and share success. This is the way we grew up. Share success means reach out to the best chefs in your area, the best maybe yoga teachers, maybe I don't know, if you by the sea, see who's having the nicest sailing boat and giving some kind of experience of a day tour, whatever. Reach out to them and say, look, I have this amazing hospitality business. I'd like to recommend you. I like to introduce you to my guests, and vice versa. And take these people who build excellent business and they're expert in what they're doing, and add them to your success. Say, we are working with the best of the service givers in this destination. So what is it that we can inspire you with? Is it amazing chef dinner here at the house, or maybe private shopper, maybe a day of sailing away with a great yacht, and or whatever. It does not have to be super luxurious upsells, but it can be also authentic ones. It can be a mama coming and cooking a local food at your home, and it can be an experience of walking into the alleys and into the small street with some kind of an artist that will show them, I don't know, the graffitis, and they will tell them the story of the city. So I know that you can create it with your own abilities wherever you are in the world. Just don't think that the frame of your business success is ending with a booking from Airbnb or booking.com and how much money you got out of it. There's more than that. And this is exactly what will give this added value to you rather than to other people in your destination. This is how people going back home and say, oh, I've been in this beautiful home, but on top of it, I had such a great host. He made me see the whole neighborhood or the whole destination from completely different eyes. I'm definitely going to be in touch with him, and maybe I'm thinking even about coming and buying a property in this area. And you will be the point of contact as well.
Which you have a very good case study for that, which I'm going to get to in a second, because that was the birth of your one of your many businesses that you have. But I want to bring this point home because I think it's so important what you said around not letting, sometimes you can't be so transactional. It can't be, like eat, sleep, stay, pay, review, right? It's bigger than that, especially if you're looking to build kind of like an empire that you've built. It's leveraging, which I love, the, the expertise of others in bringing that into your ecosystem. So that's genius. What are some of the tips, if, because we like to be tactical in the lab, not that I think our experiment nation is very resourceful in that sense, but as far as some guidance goes, like what are some of the best methods that you've seen in being able to reach out to these individuals? Is it, phone calls, is it videos and email? Like what usually do you think that you convert the best in when it comes to reaching out to those experts?
Yeah, I believe that these experts may be getting a lot of emails. I would
Mhm.
pick up the phone like old old
Old
school,
fashioned way, right?
old, yeah.
That always
And
works.
sometimes I would use a little bit like my clients are searching for, and start with that. I mean, even it's not a lie, it's just like you are making the future present,
I
and
love
say
that.
my clients are looking for a chef. I
Mhm.
searched the web and I saw that you're doing amazing thing, and I think like first I'd like to offer it to this client, but also to others. Can we meet? Can we have a cup of coffee? Here is
Mm,
my website. Let's
yeah.
talk about it, and so and so. Or don't forget that these people have a business and we have a business, and we can open channels in a way that like because of being that the guest realized that I'm close to the marina. He says, hey, I'm gonna take this house and I'm gonna take this day trip on the yacht with this wonderful service that they offered me.
Mm,
They
yeah.
see you as the one that like opened the doors for them knowledge wise and
Yeah.
make it possible for them. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in masterminds. It's sometimes the people that you're able to bring together in a room, that's the value. And if you're able to connect them to other experiences and you were that point of contact, that's an added value on top of that. I appreciate you sharing with that too, because I was just talking about this the other day that we rely so much on technology these days that we kind of lose the human element of picking up the phone and kind of doing things the old fashioned way. But I want to give enough time for us to tackle kind of like, forecasting where you are now. You mentioned people said, hey, can you start doing what you're doing for yourself, which is always the point. Have a proof of concept, people will come, right? So you really want to hone in on and making sure your experiments are super sound, you have results, then people will come to you. Can you tell me about how that looked like? Is it people from that same neighborhood in Justad, or was it people from, how am I calling you to manage my stuff in a complete other country? I want to know how that all came together for you as you kind of
Uh,
grew exponentially. Experimentation, I always experiment. And the reason why is I'm always trying to find the best tool, the best method, and the best vehicle to help me get to my end goal. One of the tools that we use in the short-term rental space is Guesty for Hosts. Now, experimentation, you know that I love to test things and I wouldn't be sharing with you anything that I don't use myself. As a short-term rental superhost, Airbnb superhost, listings that we own and co-host at the same time, I can tell you that there's no better software that allows us to streamline our business. Right now, currently, there's actually 3 properties right now that are currently where guests are checking in and I'm here with you, and I did not need to send in check-in instructions for these current properties, right? There are multiple ways that you can streamline your operation from on the front end and on the back end, from being able to create a website, from being able to get income reports for your team, to looking at statistics, to setting up auto reviews, to integrating your smart lock so that you don't have to sit here and send every day and remind yourself to send the passcodes for your smart locks. No, instead you can integrate directly the exact same way that you can actually send your cleaners a link so that they don't have to remind themselves when they need to go to cleanings. There's text reminders that go out. There's links that can go out for them. This is a tool that if you're looking to give a smooth experience for your team on the back end, it will truly reflect, and it does, for your guests on the front end. Make sure you go to host.guesty.com and use our unique link. Our unique link will be in our bio, in the show notes. If you're currently watching this, you'll see it right here at the bottom of my screen. Use this unique link so that you can tell Guesty that I sent you. You don't want to miss out on this. You need a PMS, property management software, in your business if you're looking to operate like a super host that you deserve to be, so that your guests can have the best experience that they deserve to have at your properties. Again, that host.guesty.com. Use our unique link that is here on the screen, in the bio, and in the show notes if you're listening to this, guys. Happy hosting.
Okay, so we started to do what we learned that we were doing best here in Gstaad, Switzerland. Then we saw ourselves as professional from day one. Nobody told us that we are good, and nobody told us that we are great, and we didn't know if what we're doing is in any standards, because the whole industry was so young. So we actually enrolled ourselves into a few conventions. At that time, Airbnb did the world conventions for hosts. They stopped it already like 7 years ago, I think, but we managed to be in 2 of them, one in Paris, one in LA. And this is exactly where we start to meet other property managers and to talk about what we're doing. Then immediately I felt like, hey, why don't we work in cooperation? I've been to a vacation with my husband in Greece, and I told him, why don't we have a few properties in Greece? And he told me, in Greece, but we're a Swiss company. Why would anybody talk to us to stay in Mykonos? And I said, because we understand luxury, and they also have luxury. And he was against it, and the industry too. They didn't understand. When we started to develop our first destination in Mykonos, in Marbella, in Spain, and a few other, Saint-Tropez, we start to follow where our guests are traveling, these kind of jet setters, where they are traveling a few times in a year, and we start to understand their kind of points.
Path,
and then this is what I decided to do. I reached out to property managers on those areas and say, hey, the same person coming to me at the ski time, he's coming to you in half a year. Would you like me to present your property as well? And he said, like, where?
Who did you reach out to exactly? I'm just curious. Was it another owner?
No, we reached out to other property managers, but
okay,
in the same style of management as we are. And what I figured out already then is that even though we are even in different countries, we are serving the same clientele. And we start to say to people that stayed with us in Switzerland, if you have plans to go to any other destination in Europe, contact us as well, because we have, and we wrote this like the 10 destinations that are beloved by these high-end individuals. We have some contacts in Ibiza and in Mykonos and in St. Barts and in Saint-Tropez and so on. So, and you'll be surprised how fast we got these individuals reaching out and say, and by the way, I gonna be next summer in Tulum. I didn't know where is Tulum, to be honest. And I said, okay. And they say, would you have anything over there? I said, let me check. Let's say, okay, you have 10 days. I want to book in this and this amount of money. Now we hang the phone and we said, where the hell is Tulum? Checking the internet, realizing that Tulum is, of course, in Mexico. And I'm talking to you about like 8 years ago, right? That not everybody knew where is Tulum, because it was just the beginning of the time that really started to be trendy. Yeah. And these people are the people who created the trend. So within 10 days, we had a lot of offers in Tulum. We reached out to property managers, we digged and we found the connections, and we said, we have this client. And of course, because of this client, this single guest, we developed a whole destination. And this is how we grew worldwide.
So when you reached out to those property managers who are managing properties, are they doing the same model as you as hosts, or they're just managing properties and they have inventory for you to use? Like, I'm trying to understand.
So look, our industry of hospitality is very local in focus, and it should be staying this way. We approached it in a different way from day one, and that's why in the beginning the industry looked at us as people like jumping from one place to another, not focused. I looked at it and say, it looked like there was a lot of cramps on the map, and you want just to kind of clear it. And only when all the cramps look like there were more of them and you could see kind of a drawing, then you say, hey, there's something that I can read over here. So so we are working as in today's models with property managers from all around the world. The property managers managing their beautiful hospitality business, they taking instant bookings. They are working with the platform, with Airbnb, with VRBO, whatever. And Smiling House is like a helping hand to get them these extra bookings that is based on request to book. We only request to book. So the final yes or no is the property manager to decide if to take the booking from us. We are like a concierge for them.
Wow, that's
And then,
really interesting.
And then on top of it, Smiling House is a leading partner of, for example, of Marriott Homes and Villas. So whoever publish with us, we can publish it on Marriott as well, on other luxury clubs like American Express, like Third Home, which is individuals who have 3 homes and more, and they have their own club. So we have our own distribution channels within our channel. But in the end of the day, we also representing some of the properties on Airbnb and VRBO, but only in request to book. So the instant book, the grabbing the dates and whatever, it's yours to have. And Smiling House is here to give you this extra bookings with a higher budget for the more expensive properties, etc.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're serving, and I love that you said that, because then you're also, when you pick up the phone, you have a good selling point. It's very similar to when you go to a building, you said, hey, do you have any vacancies? You're doing rental arbitrage. It's kind of like, here's my value proposition to you. Keep these vacant units occupied. Yours on the other end is, hey, we have clientele who are looking for this type of product, and you have it, and we can make it happen. We can make the connection happen. Question outstanding is, how do you assure that their standard is going to be up to the standard of your guests when they check in? Like, is there certain towels that they're gonna have? Like, is it kind of resort style where it's already prepped to go, or do you know that they're cleaning it to your standard? Like, how do you make
so we're
sure
not
that
going into the level of the towels. We doing the due diligence first of all on the partner. We're learning the partner and his standards, and then we're looking at the different properties. Mainly we will pick up the ones that have 4 bedrooms and more. Our average group size is 7 to 9 people. In leisure destinations, and the price is also playing a role. So, once it's reaching out certain price, the level is almost there. The chance that the towels will not be, will be torn or with stains is like, no, that's not going to happen. Not because of my level of my guest, because of the level of the hosting and the level of the owner that keeping it mainly to his standards. This is maybe something that's a little bit different in the luxury part of vacation rental. The owner who owns these properties have his own standards, and these houses are up to standard all year long with no connection to the guest. The guest is just for the time that this owner is not using the place, but the place is kept into the highest level just because of the standards of the owners. So it's easier. Our due diligence is actually easier.
Yeah, because you're vetting at the owner level, like, or you're like 5-star, like Michelin, and then we can have a conversation. I'm not going to send my guests to like
Yeah.
$100 a night or whatever.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but but I really want to say, and I think that hopefully you hear it also in my voice and look in my eyes. Our attitude is really not snobbish, really not, I'm not going to
Yeah.
send my client, you know. It's just like, hey, I have this kind of client with these standards. Do you
Yeah.
have what
If
fits
room for
fits
them.
to
Yeah.
it,
Fits to,
you
yeah.
know?
No,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, because I can see, I must say that I met and in our journey some people who's dealing with hospitality, the expensive or maybe expensive real estate, and I
Become
felt that they,
snobby.
yeah, they become like,
Yeah. I'm here
yeah,
and you're there. It's,
exactly.
yeah, it's not about that.
And we, I think, as a company, as people, we try not to forget we are still eye to eye. We are still smiling all the time,
Well,
and we're talking in eye level. And I think this is exactly. By the way, you'll be surprised, or maybe the audience will be surprised. This is exactly what our guests like. They don't try to find the people who try to beat them. They want,
yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've done a good job. I can even tell, like, your tone, your brand name, Smiling House Luxury. It's very, I feel like you're doing a good job of attracting not only the right people to work with you, but the right partners as well. And
Thank
that
you.
starts with what I said. It starts with you. It starts with the business operator. If you came off as, well, Ruben, in my time, and I've sensed that from people, right? It's like, oh, like, you're talking to me like I'm below, when I don't get any sense of that. So I don't think you ever need to worry about that, because you're very charismatic and obviously you truly care. Just for our listeners, and I know we're just about wrapping up here, and I want to give you a chance to tell me about this deal, congratulate you on the air. But just so we understand, for our listeners who, wow, I want to be like Moriya, or like, this is amazing, I want to actually become a customer. What does that look like? What fee? You talk about you're kind of like a mix. I love this, by the way, melting pot of like concierge / real estate / hospitality. What kind of fee would I expect working either with you, and or if I'm thinking of this management model, which is not really, again, it's a hybrid. I wouldn't even call it a management model. What do you charge for that? Like, what's
So
expected?
we,
What
yeah,
margins are you
so
getting?
yeah, so we're not charging for all the actions we're doing. We're only working on success. And once we have the success, we're charging less than any other OTA. So an OTA like Airbnb, Booking.com will be between the 15 and 17% price from the net, right? On top, we will charge only 12. All the actions that we're doing around it, if it's social media, is it talking to the clients in different languages with our team, the concierge, uploading properties even manually if you don't have a PMS into Smiling House, and distribute them into Marriott and whatever. All this we're doing for free. We very much believe in sharing economy. We very much believe in sharing our success. So you only meet us again once we're succeeding to book your place. And all the journey of before is done by us. And also when we are booking your place, the way that we are looking at our at the property managers we're working with, we're calling them our partners. So you
Of
becoming a
course.
partner of Smiling House wherever you are. And why are we calling them a partner? Because we are sharing the hospitality journey of our guests. So we're taking the first part of the journey. We're talking, we convincing, we're giving all the time and all the explanation. We have no limitation. We're talking freely, not only in chat, in the phone, whatever. And we're charging the booking for a lot of people also to send the money to Switzerland feels like safe thing to do, and it's true. And then whoever you are, our partner, we deducted our commission and sending it to you. And the only thing you need to do is welcome our guests in your very beautiful standards. And that's why we chose you to begin with, and to give them the best feeling. And on the way, we, of course, learning and upselling and offering more of the destination. And we are keeping in touch like this together up to the point that the guest is going back home. And both of us, like our partner, the property manager on destination and Smiling House that took and brought the client and like feeling very, very good and happy, and can summarize this as another great hospitality journey for all of us.
Absolutely. And you've instilled so much trust that I think is such a good segue, where you've been able to even create, again, Villa Tracker as a way to, correct me if I'm wrong, it's helping, other travel. Is the Villa Tracker the one that where you can buy or sell?
No, this is Triangle.
This is our
new startup that grows a lot of attention. So I want to say a word about it.
Yeah.
And of course, hopefully we can share in the end all kinds of links and whatever. So Triangle is the first platform worldwide that let property managers act as realtors, to be involved in selling their houses that under their management to new homeowner who wants to buy a vacation home, want to buy it with their yield. This platform is showing the yields of you and your history of management, that creating like an extra value. And we got a lot of interest coming from in real estate investors, because there's the first time that you can see the history of the property managers in different parts in the world, together with selling price. And you can combine as a homeowner, you can combine your lifestyle of where you want to stay a few weeks in a year, and the great money that property manager is actually creating for you for free, working on success. So this is what we're doing. It's like a closed investors club, and we let property managers to upload to the platform of Triangle properties among their collection. Some of them are completely off market for sale. And this is like news. And we sold, this idea again came from experience. We sold in the Smiling House group about $25 million properties in the a little bit less than 2 years.
That's crazy. That's a newer company too, right?
Exactly. And we're handling right now, only in this month, we handled a request of 95 million, and it's completely new. So wherever you hear us, just go to triangle.luxury.com and enroll yourself as a property manager or as an investor, and you'll be surprised. We will start to send the leads towards you too. And hello, let's admit it, we all can have some layer of new homeowners who really driven to make our property houses, vacation houses better. Let them invest and finally change these couches or add this jacuzzi that we wanted for so long, and make our business profitable much better together. So this is a new era of investors looking for STR investments, and we all can play a role there.
That's amazing. And that's such an amazing idea. And what I hear too, the advantage from what I understand is you're really serving the property managers and allowing them to double dip, show their product, be able to sell it, and then still stay on as managers, right? That's the entire intent of this, right?
Yeah. And more than that, Ruben, by the way, the property managers can give also a forecast. They give the history, but they also give a forecast, say like, hey, if you invest like 100,000 or 20,000 and finally do this renovation or whatever, then I can create more days and more bookings. And if this homeowner just didn't let me tie my hands, and you will give me like carte blanche, then I can do much more. And there's a place for you to show your forecast. And this is what the investors see immediately. He sees the history, he sees the yield, he sees how many years this property has been managed, and what is the forecast. And the other great news is we also allowing about 10%, not more, of new inventory to come into Triangle. It's houses that never been rented before or completely new on the market, coming from constructions. And we do a matching between property managers that are, of course, enrolled into Triangle, and these new homes, saying, if I will manage your home, this new home, if you will buy this place, I will create this yield. And this way, we want to give back a big hug back to our industry and make our colleagues, our partner, the property managers working with us, extend their collection or maybe step up into luxury as they always wanted.
That I gotta say, I mean, you are doing some amazing things and you're really revolutionizing, because this is incredible. And like, I know this because I'm a licensed realtor as well. That's how we're able to invest in some of our short-term rentals, because I have the visibility and I can't. And as a, you know, as a host myself, and kind of we have our team, you've literally put all the pieces together again. Again. And I think that might be, honestly, not might be, that's your zone of genius. It sounds like I don't know if you're a visionary and you just see the gaps in the marketplace where like, oh, like people need to book, people need a place, we could leverage destinations, we could leverage other property managers, like, and you're just able to kind of just see the opportunity. And just there's just so many layers of that in the short-term rental space. And I trust that, I'm sure next time I speak with you, you're probably gonna have a third company.
Yeah, no, this time, no, this is actually Triangle is my baby.
Yeah.
And I find it so natural, you know, to let us property managers with our realtor skills. I mean, you're a professional realtor, but we have some people have these skills, and they have, let's admit it, they have the keys to the, not only to the houses, but to the homeowner heart and trust. And I want to give them this feedback back to them, to the fact that, yeah, you can be involved even in such a thing like be involved in the sale of your house. And let's admit it, if you're losing it to a couple with a dog and 2 kids that moving in, you're losing business. We don't want that. We want it to keep on being a vacation home and to keep on giving our love to it. And yes, if we deserve to get part of the commission, we deserve it as well.
Wow. And what commission structure have you put in place, out of curiosity?
So Triangle is representing actually the buyers, because we are gathering this investors club, and the property manager is representing the seller, together with, in many cases, from a legal perspective, with realtors. Of course, in the future, and Triangle is a startup today, raising their, hopefully, the first round. We open for this pre-seed investment. So in the future, I believe that we will be able to work with realtors in every destination that will work with Triangle and for Triangle, and will give from their knowledge, and will help and will work closely with property managers in the destination, or maybe just all in one, just like in your case, Ruben.
Wow. I mean, I can't just, my mouth is just like, jaw is dropping, because it's just so much there that you've unpacked, and I just see it. Like, I see the value. And that's what I love about entrepreneurs, about like, how can I solve a problem or lack thereof opportunity that many will benefit from. And that's how you've been able to accumulate your success. So with that exit, and I definitely want to have the link, why don't we just drop it now, and we'll also include it in the show notes for those who do want to sign up for Triangle Luxury. I'll have my team add it in the notes, but just if we want to call it out, what is the link for our listeners who may be driving and maybe not watching on the screen?
Yeah, so we have 2 websites. So one is triangle-luxury.com. This is where you're going to have more explanation about the model. And you have triangle.luxury and Setu, only triangle.luxury, that is leading you directly into the registration. We have another interesting role that is called ambassador. So we have amazing people that are, you know, chefs and architects and photographers and whatever, that helping us grow our community, both with opening their black book and invite investors, but also feeding us with amazing homes that are not yet vacation homes, and we making the matching. So see who you are. Are you a property manager? Are you an investor? Are you ambassador? And enroll for Triangle. We'll be happy to see you there.
You'll definitely see me there for sure. I'm all in. And I think if you're listening, watching this, and you caught a glimpse of anything that Moriya just said, I think you should be on there as well. And
Thank you.
one last thing, I want to give you a big hooray before we exit, because I know you've kind of over delivered the value and your time. I want to give you a big kudos offline. Earlier, we were talking about this big deal that just came in the pipeline. Did you want to just share that with our
Yeah.
community so we can all celebrate for you? And because we just, like, how can you not be supported? I mean, with all that you're doing.
Yeah,
So tell us.
actually, we're not really talking ever about our, about how deals we're closing or whatever. But this
Yeah.
is such a significant one, even for us. It's a funny story. It's a very, very known person. I cannot mention his name, but it's somebody that probably his name is like ringing the bells almost for everybody. Reached out to us a few days ago actually, and asked for his daughter coming from United States to stay around, to stick around, and she wanted a very expensive place. So he offered to buy it, but it was just like, no, the person who just built it was not ready to sell it yet. And they okay, maybe we'll buy it later, but in the meantime, let us rent it for 1 year. And this is a $1 million, really exactly like that, with a
Rent.
little rent for a vacation home for 1 year. And I will not be surprised if this will be just the down payment for something above 20 million of sale. Now that, of course, that they know the value of the rent of such thing. This person is moving in as a family and flying over stuff. And these are people, in the highest standards. I just visited the place yesterday. So just to give you an idea, it's got an indoor pool, heated pool, and about 4 different kitchens and sauna and private thing, and it's got beautiful views, but all done in out of wood, very kind of quiet design. And they have a party room. I like it, with a disco ball that goes on,
Oh my
and a
God.
private bar. Yeah, so hopefully they will have a great time over there. We just been involved in it. It was a very intensive 5 days negotiating this and make it happen. And it just happened.
Wow.
So I'm very, very delighted. Yeah.
That is huge. And all this came from, again, the
Well,
reaching out. Do you think that came from the, yeah, I guess, where do you use the reaching out come from in your world? Is it just the branding that you've been putting out? And
um, yes, and it's all about trust. If you ask me, it's even more than that. I don't know if you're following me, or in the book where you probably saw, I'm the mother of 7 kids, and I'm managing the business together with my husband, and we are world travelers. We're really working from anywhere. And in the last 2 years, we've been living in few continents and in few places. And so actually what I'm trying to say, we are not always here or there. So it's about the trust, and the trust is going with you wherever you are. And if you manage to do it, not because, because your window is always with light, but because you are there, you are supportive, you are answering, even in the weekends, maybe you always trying to find a solution. You're staying modest, and I mean it. You're staying modest. Don't try to be who you're not, and don't try to promise what you can't. And remember your frame of where you are, and keep yourself the best in this, without saying it, let the others say it on you. This is what, in the end of the day, I think is attracting. This is like the moment that people that working with you feeling friends, and some clients feeling close to you, rather than just doing business with you. So if you figure out this border of this, something that is kind of amorphic, I believe that you can be very successful in hospitality, and with everything else actually that you do in life.
yeah, I was just gonna say, with everything else. Listen, Moriya, I don't think you could have teed it up any better than what you just did as a key takeaway for all of our listeners. I want to tell you that your energy is so genuine, authentic, and you're smiling through. I could sense the smiling house legacy going through the screen and through the voice if you're listening. And I know that's why you're successful and you're having an impact that's bigger than you. I always say it's not about you, but it's about who loses if you don't win. And you've clearly brought a lot of people along the way, including your family, on this journey. So I know that's not easy, and but all the success is deserved. So with that, I just want to give a big thank you. Where can the people either tune in? I mean, the book is right there over my shoulder for the Hospitable host, but I know we want more of Triangle Luxury, we want more of Moriya. Like, where do we tap into what you're doing? What is
Yeah,
the
so
best way for us to stay in touch?
yeah, so everywhere actually. LinkedIn is very, very close to me. Find me as Moriya Rockman in LinkedIn. Find Smiling House on Facebook, on Instagram, even on TikTok, and of course www.smilinghouse.ch. Also in .com it's working, but funny enough we're keeping the .ch for Switzerland. And feel free to reach out to ask a question. And of course, if you want to become one of our partners, we're gonna go and keep on succeeding together.
Absolutely. Together is the name of the game. And just like that, we are out.